This is Nicholas Tartaglione, charged with 4 counts of murder, 4 counts of kidnapping resulting in death, and 1 count of narcotics conspiracy in Otisville, New York. In 2016, Tartaglione, a retired cop and school police officer, tried to set up a cocaine-dealing business with 4 New York residents, Urbano Santiago, Hector Gutierrez, and Martin and Miguel Luna. But when the business failed, Tartaglione believed that the 4 had stolen $250,000 worth of cocaine from him, and he would do anything to get it back. The 4 were last seen alive in a store parking lot, entering their car. Their families searched for months, but it was the FBI who finally broke the case.
Ellos siempre andaban trabajando, pero en construcción. Y, o sea, no nos íbamos a imaginar algo así.
They found 4 shallow graves on Tartaglione's property, each containing the missing men's bodies. Tartaglione was arrested on the spot, but he swore he was innocent.
I'm a cop in prison for crimes I didn't do. I was running an animal rescue organization. That's who I am.
He does admit one thing.
The only involvement I had in this was Marcos and Martin asked me if I knew anybody that could help them find somebody that stole money. I said, yeah, here's this guy. And I gave him Benderoff's number, and I gave him Big's number.
Despite confessing to knowing them, he's sure the jury will release him.
The truth will come out. If the jury was able to see what we had, I'd be home right now.
But Tartaglione's in for a nasty surprise.
The judge agreed with the victims' family members, saying to Tartaglione, yes, you are a monster, and sentencing him to the 4 consecutive life sentences.
The judge sentenced him to 4 life terms. Tartaglione's family was shocked.
He is not a monster, and he is not a murderer, and he is not any of those things.
As for the victims' families, they finally found justice.
Aunque no me van a devolver mis seres queridos, pero yo sé que ellos de donde ellos estén están muy contentos.
At least now the public is safe from Tartaglione, but across the ocean, this cop was kidnapping unsuspecting victims right off the street while on duty. This is the case of Wayne Couzens, charged with kidnapping, sexual assault and murder in South London, England. In 2021, Sarah Everard was walking home from a friend's house when she was stopped by police officer Wayne Couzens. He claimed that she'd violated a COVID law by being outside and said he had to take her back to the station. Instead of doing that, however, he drives her 55 miles away into the woods, where he assaults and murders her. Police find her body days later. An investigation shows CCTV of Couzens arresting Everard, and hours after the arrest, his phone pinged in the very woods where her body was found. When police showed up at his house, Couzens denied all involvement.
Do you know Sarah?
I don't know.
So, would you like to, do you know where Sarah is?
No.
Within seconds, however, he discovered they had evidence to link him to the crime. That's when he came up with this outlandish story.
I am in financial and I've been lent on by I don't know who they are. They're a group, a gang, whatever.
He claimed that a Romanian gang threatened the lives of his children, forcing him to obey their commands.
They told me, right, I need to go and pick up girls and give them to them.
He admitted to picking up Everard. However, he claims he didn't do her any harm.
I still don't know. I don't know. They just I just parked my car up, and then the van come up behind me, flashed me, and they all jumped out, and then they took this girl.
He was a helpless, unwilling accomplice.
Opened my door, opened that door, pushed me out against the front of the car, took the girl, drove off. That's it. They said, we'll be in touch.
However, when the police asked him how the gang contacted him to threaten him, he fumbled for a reply.
There's no links, no telephone numbers. I'm completely on my own, but at the same time being threatened.
His lying, plus the CCTV footage and technological evidence, prompts the judge to give Couzens the harshest punishment that a UK police officer has ever seen.
Wayne Couzens will spend the rest of his life behind bars. He will not see the light of day again.
But now, if you thought this case was over, think again. The court discovered that Couzens had a long history of sexual crimes. one including exposing himself to workers at a McDonald's drive-thru. Couzens' boss made a public statement to denounce him.
I recognize that for some people, a precious bond of trust has been damaged. I am so sorry.
But she wasn't the only one ashamed of his actions.
Today's sentencing reflects the impact of the awful crimes that Wayne Couzens committed. Today, my thoughts in particular are with all those that Wayne Couzens has targeted, and of course Sarah Everard's family.
Couzens' case is a shame to the London police force, but nothing is as shameful and well known as the case of George Floyd. This is Derek Chauvin, charged with second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. In May of 2020, 44-year-old George Floyd tried to buy a pack of cigarettes with a counterfeit $20 bill. When the cashier realized what had happened, he ran to catch up to Floyd, who had just gotten into his car. However, when Floyd refused to return to the store, the manager called the police. Immediately, Chauvin was aggressive.
I'm sorry.
Let me see your other hand.
Please, Mazza.
Both hands.
Do nothing.
Put your hands up right now. Let me see your other hand.
Floyd was scared, and he wasn't afraid to say it.
Very nice.
Step out of the vehicle and step away from me, all right? Step out and face away. Step out and face away.
Please don't shoot me. Please, man.
I'm not going to shoot you. Step out and face away.
Chauvin restrained Floyd for being uncooperative, but when he tried to shove Floyd into the back of the cop car, things got even more tense.
Y'all hear me? Don't do me like that, man. Leave me. Okay, can I talk to you, please? That's what you get. I am claustrophobic. I'm claustrophobic, man. Working with me.
Floyd tried to explain himself.
Okay, I'm not a bad guy, man. In the car. I'm not a bad guy. You out.
Then Chauvin took things too far.
I can't go, man. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Please, man. Why did you do that to me? Does he want to jail with me?
Despite his protests, the cops didn't stop.
I cannot breathe. I cannot breathe.
Floyd suffocated to death under their knees, and this is the moment they finally realized. Paramedics take him to the hospital, but it's too late. After Floyd's death, Chauvin was arrested and charged with second-degree murder, and things weren't looking great.
George Floyd! George Floyd! George Floyd!
The entire world was outraged, but as for Chauvin, he left the Floyd family a cryptic message.
I want to give my condolences to the Floyd family. There's going to be some other information in the future that would be of interest, and I hope things will give you some peace of mind.
This is the moment Chauvin learned the jury's verdict.
Count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony. Find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April, 2021 at 1:44 p.m.
This time, there would be no slap on the wrist for Chauvin.
As sentence for count 1, the court commits you to the custody of the Commissioner of Corrections for a period of 270 months. That's 270. That is a 10-year addition to the presumptive sentence of 150 months. This is based on your abuse of a position of trust and authority, and also the particular cruelty shown to George Floyd.
This man is sentenced to 22.5 years for the killing, plus an additional 21 years for violating Floyd's civil rights. Chauvin tried to downplay his despicable crimes. But now what happens when a bloodthirsty officer completely lies? This is Michael Slager, facing a federal civil rights offense in Charleston, North Carolina. Back in 2015, Officer Slager pulled over 50-year-old Walter Scott to warn the driver about a broken brake light. But when Slager went back to run Walter's license, Walter does something completely unexpected. Slager gave chase. What happens next is unforgivable. Slager claimed he was scared for his life after Scott reached for his stun gun, but there's no denying that he fired 8 shots at a man who was running away from him. Instead of calling for help, Slager treated Scott as if he were still a threat. What he does next is unbelievable. After realizing what he's done, Slager drops his stun gun next to Scott's body, allegedly to solidify his story of Scott reaching for the stun gun. The next day, Slager's arrested for the murder of Walter Scott. At first, he tries claiming self-defense due to Scott allegedly reaching toward his stun gun. After 2 years of trials, however, Slager finally gave up the ruse.
In a hushed federal courtroom, Judge David Norton asked him, "Do you understand why you're here today, sir?" Slager, "I'm here to change my plea to guilty."
He pled guilty, ending the trial process and skipping straight to sentencing. Scott's family was relieved.
Do you forgive?
Not yet. The admission of him being guilty and that he did the crime helps in my healing process. Have I forgiven yet? I'm working on it.
Slager's plea deal earns him 20 years in jail for his crimes. He gave up on his freedom and accepted his fate. But other wicked cops have a much, much harder time confronting reality. This is Daniel Holtzclaw, charged with multiple counts of rape and sexual battery in Oklahoma City. For over 6 months, Officer Daniel Holtzclaw targeted poor black women, some with previous criminal records or outstanding warrants, and threatened them into doing sexual favors for him. He might have gone on for years if it weren't for one woman.
I have no record. I didn't do anything wrong. So I was innocent, and he just picked the wrong lady to stop that night.
Yes.
Janie Liggins said she was scared for her life when Holtzclaw stopped her.
To think that he was going to shoot me. He was going to kill me.
But she's not the only one who came forward.
And I was scared. I felt like I had to do that. He's in control. He's the police. He has the badge. And, I'm handcuffed to a bed.
In fact, Holtzclaw had targeted at least 12 different women, all of whom were ready to fight for justice. Holtzclaw, however, denied all involvement.
Right. And to come back, if there's something there and you say no, and she said it was that, you see where we're going.
Right, I do.
And that's why we always try to give every angle.
Right.
We wasn't there.
Right.
So we just got to go off of everything that we see and have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do you understand?
No up.
No up.
Not even a little up.
No, not a little up.
No.
No, I saw no.
Did she see your?
No.
He maintained that he had never done anything in his patrol car. But now how does he explain this?
CSI is processing your car right now.
Right.
And when we stepped out, they found some hairs right in here.
Despite the DNA evidence, Holtzclaw still feigned innocence.
No.
Have you ever had in the backseat of your car?
I have not.
Because, some people do. I'm not saying for consensual sex. So your has never been in your backseat.
He seemed calm as a cucumber during interrogation, but during trial, his demeanor couldn't have been more different. Holtzclaw was scared to the point of tears as he prepared to hear the jury's verdict.
Verdict seemed to be in proper order. This is in the District Court of Oklahoma County, State of Oklahoma, the State of Oklahoma versus Daniel K. Holtzclaw.
Finally, this is the moment he was waiting for.
Count 1, sexual battery. We, the jury, impaneled and sworn in the above entitled cause, do upon our oaths find as follows. Defendant is guilty of the crime of sexual battery and set punishment at 8 years. Count 2, procuring lewd exhibition.
Holtzclaw sobbed in open court.
Defendant is guilty of the crime of forcible oral sodomy, and punishment is set at 20 years. Count 9. In the first degree.
The crybaby continues as the judge tallies up his total sentence. 263 years for the rape and sexual battery of over a dozen different women.
Mr. Holtzclaw, this jury finds you guilty of the various counts. You will be remanded to the custody of the Oklahoma County Sheriff.
Holtzclaw will be in jail until his last breath. This man didn't hold back his tears at his sentence. But in this next case, not a single officer would show remorse for their heinous crime. This is Tadarrius Bean, facing multiple charges including deprivation of rights under color of law, obstruction of justice, and second-degree murder in Memphis, Tennessee. On January 7th, 2023, Bean and 4 other officers pulled over Tyree Nichols for reckless driving. 3 days later, Nichols died in the hospital. This is how it happened.
You get your ass blown the off! Get the out of here! Get the that's the cup! I didn't do anything! Hey, I didn't hurt you! Ground. All right. On the ground. All right.
Despite initial resistance, Nichols quickly gave in to the deputy's instructions. But it wasn't enough.
Tase you! Get on the ground! I know! One! Now! Stop! All right, okay. All right. Break your Hey, dude, damn! Turn the around. Put your Put your hands behind your back while quick.
Okay, stop. Hey, you guys are really doing a lot right now.
Panicked, Nichols makes a split-second decision. He takes off running. His mother's house was just a mile away, and he almost made it.
Watch out!
Police pepper spray him, punch, kick, and even beat him with a baton. As if it wasn't heartless enough, they would also deny him medical assistance for close to 20 minutes after the attack. Nichols was taken to the hospital, but he passed away from his injuries just 3 days later. The public was outraged. Protests sparked across the city almost immediately after that body cam was released. Officers Mills and Martin pled guilty to their charges, but Smith and the others wanted to fight. The court has yet to release their sentences, but all officers could face life if convicted. These officers ganged up on an innocent man. But now how does this one compare to an officer driven by pure bloodlust? This is Mark Dial, a former officer who's now facing murder charges in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. On August 14th, 2023, Dial received a call for an erratic driver on the streets of Philly. This is how he responded. Within seconds, Dial had his gun up to the window, and he pulled the trigger.
I'll shoot you! 413 shots fired, 100 West Willard. Get your hands up right now!
Despite having shot the driver various times, Dial still demanded compliance.
Keep those hands up, right where I can see him. Keep those hands up.
The driver was on the verge of death.
Break the window, Mike. You shoot your
The officers panicked. After putting on his gloves, Dial did the thing he originally set out to do: get the driver out of the car.
Huh?
You're gonna have to get him out.
I know.
13, anyone approaching? Yeah, people around now. 14, 13.
If you thought Dial was going to try to save his life, think again.
Alright, you want to look at 113?
Scoop now.
That's right, they shoved him in the back of the police car as he actively bled out.
Wow,
forward, keep forward. Mike, stay with the car, I'll take him. Stay with the car so no one grabs anything. All right,
Dial drives the driver to the nearest hospital, where EMTs could get to him. But it's too late.
Yeah, he's under control.
All right, for the assist person, can we resume the assistance right now?
The driver sadly passed away from his injuries hours later. In their police report, Dial alleged that the driver lunged out of the vehicle towards him with a pocket knife. This surveillance video will later prove him a liar.
Show me in! Show me in! Boy, John, go! Shoot you! 413, shots fired, 400 West Road.
With this footage and Dial's own body cam, the crime couldn't be more clear.
The police department takes accuracy and transparency in incident reporting very seriously. We are investigating the inaccuracies in the initial report of this incident, and appropriate disciplinary action will be taken if warranted upon the conclusion of that investigation.
Instead of getting fired, though, Dial stepped down on his own. However, this wouldn't be enough for the victim's family.
He was a good kid and never was in trouble and loved his family.
They pushed for criminal charges. Dial is currently facing murder charges for his crimes, and if convicted, he could face life in prison. Dial's cruelty is unbelievable, but not as unbelievable as a cop whose sinister actions went unchecked for years. Like in the case of Jaylen Fleer, who's facing 15 charges of child molestation in San Diego, California. In April of 2020, the San Diego Police Department received a disturbing tip from Crime Stoppers.
Thank you very much. Hi, Jaylen. I'm Detective Bratton. Nice to meet you too.
At first, the interrogator tried to keep things casual.
Married? How many kids?
Oh yeah, married. Recently got married this last year in September. Okay. We have a kid due on the way in August.
Oh, okay.
Then she got down to business.
Allegations that were made that you were communicating with a younger female on Snapchat, and potentially some material might have been shared.
Okay.
Some photos, some images, stuff like that. So
Fleer showed no reaction to the charges.
We did receive a picture this picture right here. How old were you when it was taken?
20.
20? Have you ever used this picture on any social media site?
I think it was Snapchat back in the day, yeah.
Okay.
This is the first piece of evidence they have against Fleer.
This photo came up in connection with some allegations about you communicating with a younger female on Snapchat.
Okay.
Is there anyone else you've communicated with on Snapchat?
I mean, back then, no, just close friends and coworkers and stuff like that.
Is there any reason why your phone number and email might be linked to a different Snapchat account?
Another one? No, never had another one. Just the Jaylen Fleer one.
He still claims innocence. But then the interrogator brings up her second piece of evidence.
Have you ever shared any images of your with anyone?
Yeah.
Okay. And how many times would you say you've done that?
A lot.
Fleer is still in denial, but the crimes don't stop there.
My wife, my ex-girlfriend, back in the day, Tinder and stuff, yeah. I mean, I'm sure you know how Tinder is. High school, even, junior high, did.
Did you ever share any videos of you having sex with anyone?
With anyone? No. I've always had personal videos of me and my wife. That was it. And my ex actually had one, but.
She explains that 4 young girls have come forward alleging Fleer of trying to seduce them using Snapchat. But it wasn't just those girls who demanded answers.
That was granted this afternoon by a judge.
Okay.
The warrant does allow us to grab some DNA swabs from you.
Okay.
As well as any mobile devices that might be in your possession or potentially in your locker.
A judge authorizes the police to seize Fleer's DNA, phone, and car. After recovering Fleer's Snapchat history, they find this. Fleer had offered to pay $100 for sexual acts. When he learned that his victim was just 12 years old, his response was chilling. But it's not just out sessions he's after here. Cops found explicit exchanges between Fleer and the minor. as if things couldn't get any worse. Fleer asked his victim if they had any younger friends that would be down to meet him, promising to pay generously for the connection. Well, now all of Fleer's dirty deeds were crystal clear.
He had asked her about soliciting younger friends, and she mentioned a 9-year-old friend. The defendant got excited about that prospect and tried to convince her to talk her 9-year-old friend into having a threesome with him.
In court, Fleer was as emotionless as during the interrogation.
He tells multiple 12-year-old girls, "Do you have any younger friends who are interested in older men? I'll give you money to me up with them. The younger they are, the better."
Fleer knew he didn't stand a chance against the evidence, so he took a plea deal.
I have never seen a more despicable set of facts as I've seen in this case.
In order not to re-traumatize the victims with a trial, the judge goes with a plea agreement. 12 years in prison for sexually soliciting young girls. On top of that, the judge would also sign a no-contact order.
To have no contact with these 3 people. That means you cannot harass, strike, threaten, assault, or sexually or otherwise.
Fleer ruined countless lives, including his own, because of his naughty secret. But in this next case, one cop's hasty actions led to dire consequences. Like in the case of Officer Jovanny Crespo, charged with aggravated manslaughter, aggravated assault, and official misconduct in Newark, New Jersey. In January of 2019, 46-year-old Gregory Griffin was pulled over for speeding.
Turn off the vehicle. Turn it off. Turn off the car.
What?
Turn off the car.
What?
Sir, turn off the vehicle.
Crespo refused to follow directions.
Turn it off. Turn off the car and roll down the window. Open the door.
Then things got sinister.
I got a 646. Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. Hands. Hands on the wheel.
Officer Sanchez saw the hilt of a gun underneath Green's thigh, but when she tried to unlock the door from the inside,
Come on, the car's off.
within minutes, a routine traffic stop turns into a deadly high-speed chase through the streets of Newark.
Be advised, the vehicle took off.
A total of 5 cops joined the chase, including that of Jovanny Crespo, a rookie cop. Take a look again. Crespo leapt out of his vehicle and immediately fired into Green's passenger door. However, Green still sped away. But it happened again. By now, Crespo has shot at Green's car twice with no effect. But soon, that's gonna change. That was the final deadly shot. This would be the moment the officers on scene realized the gravity of the situation. This had gone from a traffic stop to a high-speed chase, and now a murder investigation.
Who shot? Who shot? Chasing? Did you shoot?
No, I didn't shoot. Who shot?
Who shot?
Crespo shot. Crespo shot.
Yo, I shot both of them. You all right?
When the police chief came, he demanded answers.
I'm good.
What happened?
I'm good.
Listen to me. Look at me. You hit me?
I shot both.
Yeah. You good?
Yeah.
You straight. Where's your gun, puppy?
Crespo's hasty use of deadly force took a life, and he will answer for his crimes.
I would just like to apologize for the event that occurred, to the victims, to my family that I put through, everybody that's been going through hard times because of this. I took a chance at a job where it's life or death every day. And the thin blue line really is just the line.
Crespo's family pleaded for mercy.
And I thought that Jovanny had made a promise to his mom that Jovanny was going to be the best that he could be. And she wanted me to raise him the right way, and I did my best.
But the judge had none to give. He gave Crespo 27 years behind bars. Crespo's family sobbed at the verdict. But that reaction is nothing like that of William Dembie. This is William Dembie Jr., charged with murder, felonious assault, and domestic violence near Cleveland, Ohio. In 2011, Dembie, a correctional officer at the Lorain County Jail, made an unexpected phone call to his colleague.
Yeah, I killed her.
You killed her?
Yeah.
Who did you kill?
I sent somebody. 14900 Cowley.
Who did you kill, Dembie?
My wife. My ex-wife.
Dembie confesses to murdering his wife.
What's her name?
Holly.
After years of an abusive relationship, Holly's mother Cheryl begged her to get a divorce. But when Dembie learned of their plans, he stabbed Holly to death.
Who else is there with you, Dembie?
Just me and my dog.
In court, Dembie's remorse was painfully fake.
I can't understand how and why I did what I did. I may never know. But one thing I do know, that Stewie's well-being should be the #1 priority.
What he says next is unbelievable.
Shame on you, Cheryl. I don't know.
Mr. Dembie?
Mr.
Dembie?
He insulted Holly's mother, and he would have continued if the judge didn't stop him.
Once again, you speak to me about your relationship, if you wish, between you and Holly Dembie. I'm not interested in your position with regard to her members of her family.
But without the insults, Dembie's speech got a lot shorter. Holly's family couldn't take it any longer.
You know what I've had enough. You cut her throat twice. You stabbed her 8 times. And you cold-blooded killer. I've had enough of the bullshit.
He was at his limit, and so was the judge.
Mr. Dembie is remanded over the Sheriff's Office to be held until sentencing in this matter on the 16th. Thank you, folks.
The judge sentences Dembie to life in prison with parole after 20 years.